Hello, 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 hello. Alright, let's get this weird screen out of the way. That was my, put together quick, fast intro for you guys. How's everyone doing today? Are we, let's make sure. We are on display. We should be loud and clear. Alright. I'm going to try something different now. I got the chat popped up on my tablet, so I won't have to keep going back and forth and clicking the chat stuff and this and that. We are live. Stream health is good. Alright, awesome. So let's get the tablet set up so I can see what everyone's saying. And there we are. Wonderful. The volume down a little bit. Got it. Now, how's everyone doing, by the way? Everyone have a good day? I know it's 10:33 p.m., a little bit of a late start, but that is what we do here. We start late all the time. Let's go pop out. Pop out chat. Amazing. Gotta love it. All right, everybody. How are ya? Hello, Texas. Live stream is now back. Yes, it is Norway. Skeleton Master, how are you? Kluggery Girl, no way. Hi. I still have no idea how you pronounce this first word with the C there. Klugger? Klieger? Klieger Girl? I don't know. Oh, Captain Charisma. I'm not sure what you did there, but hello, Kentucky. How are you guys? Skeleton Master, yes. Aiden, hello. Philly, hello. Rich, hello. Temple, how are ya? Dole Crash Tracking, how are you? Mass Destruction, as always, how are you? Mr. Devin Smith, how are you, my friend? Hello, Karen. Robert. Marshall Planet. Mars, I like that name. My girlfriend, oh boy. Hopefully that had somewhat of a joke in it. There's True Helper. You know what? I never once, I don't even ask. I don't shoot emails to True Helper, nothing. They just jump right on and they start helping. And just so you know, True Helper, if you have stuff going on and you're busy or whatever, do not feel like you have to jump in here every time. I more than appreciate it, obviously, because, you know, we are still learning and growing here, but thank you so much. Tannis, how are you? Good to see you. Jupiter Realms, hello. Good to see you. You look familiar, by the way, that thumbnail. Mike, how you doing? Dark Lords, how are you, buddy? From Jersey. What part of Jersey? Why he no notice me? I noticed you, Munchkin. Hello. Munchkin's Gaming 26. You got a gaming channel? Caroline's got a cat called Munchie Moo. Well, we call her Munchie Moo. Good to hear, Mike. Awesome. Here, let me give you something to look at while we're talking here. Oh, yeah, we're going to be going over some close approaching asteroids that came and went. I'm going to try my best to explain what went on with this situation. Very interesting. We had 4 pass by us all within the last 4 days. Basically, from the 31st to the 2nd, we've had 4. The biggest of which was on the 2nd. I know it's come and gone, but we haven't talked about it here yet, so that's something I would like to do. Well, let's just make sure I don't have too many things open here. I hope I can close this and we won't lose live stream. Good, we're live. I sometimes open too many YouTube tabs and it kind of like messes with stuff. You know how that works? Greetings from New Hampshire, Lizard Lair. How are ya? There were meteors today. Yes, there were. In fact, let's do the work. We're going to go to American Meteor Society. And you know what? I can't. It's so annoying. I have the clip prepared. It's a little boxy and a little, not so clear, but it's a possible meteor. It's possible only because of the timing. It's on my dash cam, which isn't the best of dash cams, so there's another one you can add to it. So I'm not saying it's a meteor. I'm not going to promote it as a meteor. I will share it with you guys, of course, and you can tell me whether it was a simple light or whatever. But yes, so we'll go to this meteor chart real quick, and this is a good site. I'm sure a lot of you know about it. For right now, I'm going to put it into the U.S. territories for now. I can change that at any point if anyone else wants to see other parts of the world as far as meteor goes. But let me take a look at what some of you have seen. And please excuse me, I don't know what it is with my sinuses today, but you may hear me hold the mic and blow my nose once in a while, but I'm sure you guys won't matter. Paul, where you been, man? I've needed some good criticism lately, and you haven't been around. Christopher, yeah, sorry, buddy. I texted you on my way home, and then I got caught up doing some yard work, so you know how it goes. But we're here now. Can't see crap here, cloudy and rain. Yep, same here, man. And during this video I caught, this little video, it's actually raining out, so it's a little bit of a blurry image. Very close to the horizon, which is why I'm kind of iffy about it to begin with. But still, I broke it apart and I edited it so we can take a look at it and just see what we got going on. So, all right, as far as meteors go, and we got to understand something. There's many sites where people can report meteor sightings or fireballs. This is one of them, one of the more popular ones, American Meteor Society, great website. In fact, you have to have some sort of credentials to even be recognized on this site. So, from what I know, the higher your ranking, the more you can rely on that person is telling the truth. So, you kind of get an idea here of their experience level. Maybe not. Maybe that's not up there quite yet. But as of right now, there was an event that was seen. This was today going in, well, basically this morning going into today in Delaware, Georgia, Maryland, North Carolina, Ohio, PA, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia. So that right there shows me that it's very possible that what I saw was a meteor. But again, the video is probably going to tell a different story. So it's not the only meteor anyone needs to worry about is false. Yeah, very true. That's a big boy. So apparently what we've had here, I threw a little paper together, which I thought I had pulled up. See if I could find it again. I made a little document of my own that we can look at and read over really quick. We'll get the boring stuff out of the way first. This we don't need. This we don't need. This is all stuff for later. Later. And where did I put it? Today's project. This might have it. Here we go. Alright, so we'll take a look at this real quick. So, this is a combination of the heat that's going on that I was speaking about in Asia. We got some detail in there, but as far as the meteors go, so over the last 4 days, this is what's been going on, and apparently this is their graphical interpretation of what this last of the 4 looks like. I mean, grain of salt all day. You could take it for what it's worth. But according to NASA, our good friends at NASA, less M, very possible. Let's see. Adult crash tracking. Common knowledge at Australia was a cover for mass British genocide. Oh boy. Thank you, True Helper. Alright, so are we seeing the same screen right now? Are we looking at these two article pages real quick? These two things I put together, just so we can go over them and talk about these asteroids. I know there's a slight delay. Okay, wonderful. Thank you, True Helper. So, basically, unless some of you have already read it, this is what the deal was. We've had 4 since May 1st. Near miss is what they say. George Carlin, famous for saying that near miss joke where it's actually a near hit. A near miss would be it hit us, but it nearly missed us. So I always find that funny. So we're talking about 2019 KJ2. So this asteroid passed us on May 31st. We can see that here. It was 2:41 UT time. Maximum diameter of 22 meters. Not too big, not too small. Certainly big enough to be noticed by NASA and talked about. It was flying at a speed of 3,000 miles per hour as it passed by Earth at its closest distance. And I'm going to go over a little chart that kind of gives you an idea of how you can tell whether they're at their closest point or not. Sometimes it gets very, very visually confusing because it looks like it's very close to us, but all you got to do is alter the view and you see it's way below us or way above us. I'll get into that when I can actually show you guys visuals. There was a second part of this 2019 KL2 which passed on June 1st. So the 31st going into the 1st. The smallest group is 2019 KL2. Maximum diameter of 19 meters, so slightly smaller than the first one. It was expected, this says it is expected because this is a previous article, to fly near Earth on June 1st at 12:24 a.m. UT time. So that was our second. Not big of a deal, nothing crazy. The speed changing though. We went from 3,000 miles an hour with KJ2, the first pass, to 10,000 miles an hour passing Earth, which is a lot faster. That leaves openings for debris, more of meteorite sighting or meteor sightings. Meteorites are once they hit the ground. Meteors are what you see in the sky. That they can come from asteroids, they can come from comets. Anything. As you get smaller, the names change. And it passed about 2 million miles away. Yes, that is a long ways away, but when it comes to space, that's not that far away. Trailing behind K2 was trailing behind KL2 was 2019 KU. The latter did approach Earth on the same day as the former, which would be this one. So these happened on the same day, June 1st, basically June 1st into the 2nd. And this was at 4:49 UTC time with a speed at 14,000 miles per hour. So that we're noticing that each one of these had passed a little quicker than the one previous. And again, the last of these was on June 2nd. I'm aware it's the 5th. We could have more coming. They just seem to want to focus on this a little bit. So that leads me, to want to do the same. There's a, plots within plots, to put it lightly, if that makes sense. So, no, the rain is not helping, and I'm gonna get to that rain. Don't you worry. This is for our space buffs out there. And sorry, guys, about my nose. My allergies are out through the roof right now. So where were we? Okay, so 2019 KU has a diameter of 28 meters. So the diameters are changing. This is a pretty big one, 28 meters. Meter, give or take 3 feet. Do the multiplication. We're talking 80, a little less than 80 feet in diameter. That's not small. It's not big. But you got to understand, once these things hit the atmosphere, they start breaking up dramatically, and it's rare that they actually make it to Earth's surface when they become meteorites. I mean, you could have your, doomsday apocalyptic asteroid that's the size of a building fly in and smash Earth. I mean, they're not going to call that a meteorite. That would be a straight up asteroid hit. But I'm not trying to put that in anyone's minds. All I'm doing is showing you some data that we've had recently and some pretty close near misses, 4 to be exact. So on June 2nd, approximately 8:10 a.m. UT, asteroid 2019 KH1. So now we're at a separate asteroid now. Did perform its flyby on Earth at a distance of 0.02706 astronomical units, or 2.5 million miles away. So astronomical units just make the numbers easier for people that study astronomy to keep the numbers within a realm that your mind can wrap around. When you get into the millions and that many numbers, it's like, it takes up space. So they, kind of, change the basically, this is the definition. Astronomical units will take down 2.5 million miles and make it this number instead. So it's just an easier read. It is currently traveling at a speed of 41,000 miles per hour. Certainly the fastest one out of all of these, and certainly the biggest. And has a maximum diameter of 45 meters, making it the largest asteroid in the group. So, despite the recent close calls, NASA has reassured the public, of course, that Earth is not in danger. We are never in danger. Don't worry about that, guys. We are never, ever, 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 ever in danger with an asteroid. And indicated in the data compiled by CNEOS. Honestly, guys, I don't even know what that represents right now. I will look into that. There are currently no asteroids that are on collision path with Earth at this time. That's basically what they're saying. So that's our asteroid information. Now, I've had some people comment that they wanted to talk about this and make this a common topic as far as space weather goes. And yes, Space Weather Live, amazing website. In fact, let's pull that site up right now. And I'm actually on it because I wanted to show you guys what I meant by that passing. So here we go. Once again, I'm just going to go really quick back to this chart. So we could see here, this is named 2019 KJ2. All right, so, and this flew by on the 31st. And then we had the other ones, so on and so forth. Now, when I go back to the website, this one here, this gives you a chart where you can zoom in and out, and it gives you a little bit of a simple look at the solar system, our solar system. As you can see, Jupiter, Saturn, and then our condensed planets here, besides the gas giants. We got Mars, Venus, Mercury, we got the Sun here, and then we have Earth with 2019 KJ2. So we could follow the path of this asteroid and get an idea of why and when they announced the closest approach. So if you back up, actually I'll stop it there because we don't want to go that fast. We'll get back to about right there. You can see the date right here. Right near, it's going to say 5/24. So if I move forward a day, this is May 25th, May 26th, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. So they claim that this asteroid's closest approach was on May 31st, which is this date now. And you can see right here, sorry about that. This is what I mean where it gets a little confusing to read these charts because you're, I'm doing it right now as we speak in a live stream. So we'll get there, don't worry. So sometimes when you're looking at these things, you'll see them pass each other. Man, this thing's really giving me a hard time. We'll get there, don't worry. Bear with me. So you can look from above. And you can see there is a gap. You know, if you were to say this, like put it in a north-south situation, you can see there's a gap there. And then when you come down this way, you got to also understand there's a gap above and below. So this could go under Earth, it could go over Earth, it could go right next to Earth. So that's how they determine the closest approach. So apparently for this particular asteroid, the closest approach was right here, May 31st. Now, if I move forward a frame, it looks like it could get closer at one point, but you start seeing them spread apart, and Earth and the Moon are on a trajectory that brings it above where the actual asteroid is. So for those of you where, you know, it doesn't really make sense, like why does it look like it's closer, let's say, for example, right here. Oh, God, I hit the wrong button again. Of course, what else is new? There. Okay, so if I back up, let me make sure the date's right, 15th. Yeah, so basically, if you were to take this back to May 21st, a lot of people would be like, well, it looks like it's closer now than it would be in a week. But again, it comes down to how far below or above the path that Earth and this asteroid is on that determines how close it is. So the sun distance is measured in the same way. Things like that. So once you get to the 31st, I'm on the 24th now, so just watch closely and you'll see why that was their closest approach. And we're on the 27th, 28th, 29, 30, 31, and that's where we're lined up the closest. So And remember, there was 2 parts to this asteroid itself. So I hope I'm making sense when I'm trying to explain this. I know these lines make things confusing. This would be the trajectory of Mercury around the sun. They have a grid going across the sun itself. We could see, we could follow Venus's path out there. And then simply, if you were to zoom out, you know, and hit play here, or just hit these, you can go forward in frames, you get, you know, the rotation of the planets and things of that nature, and we're specifically focusing on 2019 KJ2. So this site allows you to hone in on a specific asteroid, where it is, where it might be at a certain time, and how close it is going to be to Earth. And with that said, it was a 4 passes, not 4 passes, but 4 situations plus a second rock, the 4th one being the biggest, 2019 KH1, which is not even listed on this list. All they're focusing on is KJ2. So I wanted to catch you guys up on this part of the astronomical part of this video, if that makes sense. So let me check the chat real quick, see how you guys are doing. What are we talking about? Allergic to water? Lakewood, New Jersey is part of central New Jersey. Yes, it is. Absolutely. You know what? I drank a lot of milk. No, it's fine, Chris. It's fine. You guys can talk about anything you want. I mean, this is info that will be posted even after the live chat. It'll be out there for people to see. There was a lot of people asking about the meteor situation, or the asteroid situation, about these near misses, and none of them were really a threat. The only threat, in my opinion, when it comes to these things, except for the fact if they were to announce that something was coming super close to Earth, is a debris trail. But when you look at these, you could see Earth is moving quicker, and if not quicker, it's just moving farther away. So any sort of path that's behind these is not really interrupting with Earth. Now, if we were to move into, you know, farther into the future, we may find ourselves in a position where, yes, we are behind the debris field of an asteroid. That's when you start getting meteors and meteorites, and we've seen it before. We get meteor showers on a yearly basis. Some of them every year, some come every so often. In fact, I have plenty of videos where the Leonid meteor shower is a repeat shower that we're going to see this summer, actually. So depending on your weather conditions at the time, you might get a great view of that. But what I really wanted to do was just give you guys another reference here for checking this type of stuff out. So this is another link that I'm going to copy, and I'm going to throw into the About section. So, and I'm going to remember to start doing this, because I know I say I'm going to do it, and I end up forgetting. So I paste them here, and then there we go. At least I know it's there. We're going to post it in there when we're done with the video. So, as far as the astronomical stuff goes, we've had 4 come and go. As of right now, there's not much as far as asteroids. There's a meteor shower coming up. We could talk about that if you want. But if not, we could move on to some of the weather and some of this heat going on in India. I wanted to touch on that as well. Climate change. There is certainly change going on in the climate. I will agree with that. Allergies are the worst, David. Also, we're getting hit by a meteor. No. We're not down. We're not getting hit by a meteor. At least not right now, or at least they're not telling us that we are. But we've had a couple near misses, and I'm putting my quote hands up when I say that, because I just don't understand the term near miss. Type X, so you're gay. You like men. What are we talking about here? Thank you for deleting that. Not sure if I completely believe that, but at the same time, I don't rule it out. Yeah, no, everyone's got their own beliefs and ideas of what is out there, what space is. Satellites, you name it, the moon, the sun, what is it, where is it, how far away. Everybody's got their own ideas about it. Again, I am a very neutral person. I'm the type of person that if you can send me up there and I can look at it and see it and visualize it, take pictures, and then bring them back down to you, that's going to be my proof. Until I see it with my own eyes, I don't know how else to, get behind something that I don't know enough about to explain. So, yeah, it's about research. It's about, I mean, religion gets brought into it a lot, especially when you're talking about space and where we came from and what controls everything. It's very hard for it to not all tie back to religion, and a lot of that causes arguments, or not always arguments. It could be good conversations where people learn, but it's it tends to go in a direction where a lot of heads butt. So I try to avoid that, but at the same time I allow you guys talk about anything you want as long as it's within a respectable, you know, you know, be respectful. No, you don't have to insult people. There doesn't need to be fighting. There doesn't need to be spamming, that type of stuff. That's the type of things we don't deal with on the channel. That's about it. Get to the point. Charles, I am on the point. This is the point. We're talking about space, then we're talking about heat, and then we're moving on to weather. So, I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Let's see. Tornadoes. Okay, so we did have one confirmed tornado for the day, by the way, in Ohio, I believe. Let's see. Let's make sure. Severe thunderstorm. These are all expired, by the way, so we have no on-the-ground tornadoes right now. We do have some areas to watch as far as severe weather. But where is this confirmed tornado? Here we go. About 8 hours ago, a confirmed tornado was located near Watson, or 10 miles southwest of Bowling Green, Ohio. So, that's pretty far up north for there to be a tornado coming from all these other storms that were, some of them were much stronger than this actual storm. And we could take a look at the full warning real quick and see just exactly what this was all about. I guess the warning ended around 3:15 p.m. Again, a lot of this is repeat news that I'm catching you guys up on because it was a late start for us tonight. The impact source hazard damaging tornado, so it was a touchdown tornado. Law enforcement confirmed tornado, so it was confirmed by the law. Flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged and destroyed. We've read this 100 times. We know what tornadoes do. And here were the locations that were impacted, or could have been impacted, but more than likely this cluster of area was definitely impacted. That was Fostoria, North Baltimore. Yep, Baltimore. We got Weston in there, Wayne. We talked about Wayne a lot over the last couple days, or weeks even. Bloomdale, Rising Sun, Signet, Port Gage, Jerry City, Hoytville, Custer, West Millgrove, Milton, Milton Center, and Bardstown. So those are the areas in that tornado area. To repeat, a tornado is on the ground. Check that, was on the ground. Take cover now, move to a basement. Basically, your typical warning that you will get if a confirmed tornado lands in your area, especially on this website here on tornadohq.com. If you ever see something that's not expired, you can click the full warning button and it gives you the most up-to-date info. Even like radio stations you can get in on. Sometimes it'll show you highways closed down and they update it frequently. So for those of you that do the tornado watching and stuff like that. All right, I think we pretty much covered that as far as the astronomical stuff. Now, as far as this heat goes, now, I was reading a lot about the heat going on in Asia and how they're approaching record numbers. So I decided I had to go to Wikipedia and start getting some records about where the hottest temperatures were ever recorded. And then I got into the lowest temperatures, and then you know how it goes. You go down the rabbit hole, and 2 hours later, you're still looking at the same thing. But if you see right about here where I'm circling, that's India. I have Google Earth pulled up just in case we don't know where India is. India is right here. No joke, one of the spots reported with the highest temperature was right here where it says India, and then I have another area up here that was reporting tires melting and anything rubber, house siding, anything that would be plastic was melting. Like the picture was showing sandals melting on the ground even. So let me see if I got this lined up here. 22 subs in 13 years, Chris. Yeah, it's not a good situation for there. In fact, let's look at some of these articles. Let's get to it. And then we're going to get into the Mississippi River, the ridiculous flooding going on, the levee breaches. There's people actually sabotaging some of these areas. I don't know how deep into that I'm going to go because of the topic itself. We all know how YouTube works sometimes. But really quick, let me finish this off because I know I tend to go in all sorts of directions, so I apologize for that. But as of right now, in the month of June, in America, there's been one single meteor event according to this chart. Everything before that was in May. So we're 5 days into June. So over the last 5 days, there's been one event, and that was on the 3rd. So that was 2 days ago, give or take, depends on the time. And that was this event here, and that's the exact event or same time that I caught this video. And the video you're going to see, the time is right, but the date's wrong. I didn't get a chance to change it from 2010. The video's not from 2010, I can assure you that. But it's interesting. It's a little weird light that seems to be moving as I'm making a turn. But it lines up with this time period, and I didn't know that until we pulled that up. Since that, we had this was actually a pretty big event, actually, 39 reports. Let's just look at it. Why not? So you can see right here, these are all the people that reported seeing this event, all the way from Philadelphia, Central PA, all the way down to Atlanta. South Carolina saw it. Someone in Cincinnati saw it. So it looks to me, they usually have a trajectory on this chart of where it came from. Could be a button I'm missing. Let's see. True helper, feed your pups. That's important. All right, so the trajectory is not on here, but this was the event that was on the 3rd. So we had, wow, that's a whole lot of people. So experience, this is what I was explaining before. A lot of people that come on this site, you get experience points over time. If you're a repeat poster and your information is correct and it's verified, because what this site does is you fill out a sheet and then over time they verify based on other reports, things like that, and they give you basically a point system. So the higher the number, the more experience that particular person has on the website. And when you see higher numbers like that, like 4s and 3s and stuff like that, you can kind of trust that there was something definitely in the sky. And then you have your duration. This person specifically said that it was in the sky for 3.5 seconds. This I'm not too sure about. The negative 12 point sound did not fill out. Most of these do not have sound unless you hear a sonic boom. And this was observer Aubrey Yu. So they have their name there. A lot of times you have to fill out your name in order to be one of the people to fill out this form. But this was certainly an event when you have about 40 people who reported it on the same night around the same time. In fact, let's check that. Make sure the same time is there. So the time is all on the 3rd. We have that set except for here on the 4th, which could be, nope, that wouldn't be a time difference. All these are relatively in the same exact time within minutes of each other. So for example, 23:45 Eastern Standard, 23:47 Eastern Standard, 23:47, 23:47. You get the idea. This basically all happened at the exact same time. That's why they put this into one event, and that's why they call them the events. So if I backtrack, you could see this link here. It's called an event. If I were to go into May, there was an event where 8 people reported seeing this. And this one actually has that tracker. See what I was talking about? So they're saying that the meteor was seen from point red to point green, moving south. And these are the people that reported seeing it. and you drop down to the chart. And then same info I just explained, you go based on their experience. We have 1-3 in there, Amy B. I guess the -7 would mean either a debris or that would be fragment. I'm not sure what the negative numbers mean. Anyone in the know what the negative numbers mean? Honestly, I think at this point it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to make a point for those of you that don't know about the site. So, like I said, the last reported Meteor event was in May, besides the one we had here on the 3rd, where there was 40 people that saw it. And then this one was pretty interesting, where we had 317 reports. Not only that, but this one came with a lot of footage. People sent in footage all over the place over this one. Certainly not going to match the footage I have. I almost don't want to show it at this point because it's just probably nothing at all. But again, you could see the path line here, and I'm just curious why there's no line to show the trajectory. Oh, it is there. There it is. Okay, so this thing looks like, if you zoom in, this is where it was. Okay, so it looks like people saw it from Durham in the Carolinas, moving northwest in a northwest direction. So that's, there you have it. So let's see if that makes sense to where I was. That's interesting. So I was here. It's very possible at this point. I want to say not likely, depending on where they saw it here. Had this thing been up here more, then I think my video would make more sense to incorporate into this sighting. Basically, I think because I've got my dash cam now, that I'm just hoping to see a meteor rather than actually seeing one. But this was certainly something interesting. Thanks for reports, Brian. Stray safe, true, and type X. Thanks for Tannis Olson. Thank you very much, as always. Forecast that is too far out and is currently unlikely. Norway, are you talking about our invest that everyone's been talking about in the Gulf? Possibly, Cameron. I'm going to talk about that now, actually. You got it, Salvis. Yeah, listen to Type X, guys. There's this amazing book out there. And no, it's not a promotion. I have nothing to do with these people whatsoever. But it's Eat Right for Your Blood Type. And I'm telling you, it is legit. I had no clue that your blood type has a lot to do with the foods you should be eating and stuff like that. And once again, I apologize for being a little slow here today, guys, with the live streams. It's hard. It's hard to not interact with all of you at the same time while doing this. I got to learn how to separate the two because I want to answer everybody. I want to, answer everyone's questions. I'm Googling that book now, Type X. Right now I'm on a carb roller coaster. I have to get off of it. Good call, David. Good call. I was talking about a tropical storm in the Gulf projected for mid-June, but too far. Yeah, it is too far out. Absolutely too far out to make guesses. That is for sure. But guess what? We got it pulled up, so why not look at it? Let's see. So as you guys can see, this is a different type of chart here. This isn't going to really show us our... This is what was expected to be out in this area. But yeah, when you get into... Now it's pushed back a little bit. It was the 11th through the 13th at one point. And now we're looking at June. I mean, you can kind of see it's brewing down here below Cuba between the 11th and 12th. And then 13th, it almost shoots the gap, it looks like. Maybe clipping Cuba right there. Or maybe hitting and then reforming. And then that's pretty interesting there. Almost breaks into two. And then by Friday, June 14th, we got a system there, 1,002 pressure, pretty high. So it's not packing that hurricane strength as of this chart. But let's change to this. So this is what it's showing now as far as the GFS goes, at least for that time period. I'll back it up as far as I can to current time. just to show you guys that here is that little mess we've been talking about that could have been. The could have been Barry. You still see the circle there, so it's still going to be a big rain event. We talked about this last night briefly. It's still going to be a significant rain event for Texas, but just because you don't see it as a hurricane, that does not mean it's not a rain producer. This is a version of the chart. When you select this, the MSLP 850 MB wind, it gives you a much better idea of hurricane situations as opposed to overall weather. So don't get me wrong, the Gulf Coast is going to be slammed with rain, severe storms, if not already. But talking of this hurricane or possible hurricane, I got to stop saying hurricane when it's not one yet. But yes, this is what we were expecting, and you could see it right here. That's the beginning of the roll. Had this thing stayed out in the Gulf a little longer, you could see it kind of pressed along Mexico there. Had it taken one of those spaghetti plots we showed earlier out here, we could be dealing with something a little different than now. But because of that land interaction, we don't even really get a blob out of it besides that. So this is what I'm talking about with the coast of Texas. If you see this pop up on this type of chart, these are very high clouds. And when you get high clouds, you get very strong storms on the ground. So certainly going to be something Texas and Louisiana are going to feel. If not feeling already, we got to understand this is June 6th, and now that green is passing Louisiana. Last night we were talking about how it was just entering Louisiana, and then now Mississippi, Alabama, you can't even see the green because it's not registering on this type of chart. So again, this is for hurricanes, but as we move in to June 10th, which is far off, yes, we need to take this with a grain of salt, but it keeps coming up. It's shooting between the 11th and the 16th. It's a wide range, but check this out. The one that we were watching that was in the Gulf and we were keeping a close eye on for a long time, it doesn't really make itself known, although it did make itself known to Texas and Louisiana as a storm. You see it go out and cross Georgia and South Carolina almost, and once it gets into the water out here, check it out. It kind of begins to form right then and there, but it looks like it's going to shoot right towards Ireland, maybe clipping Nova Scotia. But now on with what we saw coming after that is this situation between, like I said, the 12th and 11th. This thing is brewing down in the South Caribbean, and it looks like it wants to either shoot the gap or it's going to be forming as it's crossing this area, which may or may not affect the ability of it to produce. But there you have it. That's what it's showing right now. 999, it's dropping under 1,000. Anything under 1,000 can produce some significant weather. I'm not saying it's going to be a cyclone, but it's showing something for this time period. Now, if you were to switch, I mean, we can go to the European model, and they may have a whole nother idea about what's going to happen, and they certainly do. So they're not even showing this thing in the European model. This is what they showed as far as that invest we just dealt with 2 days ago. And then this is when it was over Louisiana tomorrow. Actually, it's showing that tomorrow. And then the low pressure system will be over Kentucky and Tennessee at 999. That's pretty strong to be over land right there. That's going to be interesting for them. That's where I'm going to get on Solar Scope for you tomorrow for sure. And we're going to follow that area over here. Like I said, we do have this severe weather going on in Texas as well. Just check the chat real quick. Make sure everyone's good. Everything good on here? Caroline, thank you. I know you're working your ass off right now. Your butt off. Sorry, Carol, if you're in there. I don't curse, remember? I'm going to the Keys Friday for a week. Okay, so, all right. I happen to just see that tweet, so let's just look at the Keys for the week. In fact, let's just do it the old-fashioned way. Florida Keys. Let's see what you got in the near future for you. We'll take a look. All right, so you said you were going. Where are you? Okay, Jaw 2131 into thin air. I'm going to the Keys on Friday. So, Thursday night, 10% chance of rain. That's not bad. I might have to. Let's do 10-day forecast first and just see what you got going on there. We'll do you the favor. We'll get it. See if you're going to have a good time. Hey man, it looks like things are going to be okay. I mean, you got to understand the Keys, they get thunderstorms, they come and go. It's part of Florida. I mean, when I lived in Florida, it rained every day. Whether it was a thunderstorm or not, they come and go. You're leaving Friday. It says AM thunderstorms, which means probably the rest of the day you'll be good. Saturday, AM thunderstorms. Sunday, thunderstorms. I'm not sure exactly how long those will last for you. And then depending on how long you're staying, it's going to be scattered throughout Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. You're certainly going to have the temperatures nice. It's not going to be brutal heat. Might be a little muggy for you, but just keep an eye on the percentages here. It looks like Sunday might be a day that you might want to do some indoor activities. That would be June 9th. But besides that, it's showing for Friday 40% and then 50% AM thunderstorms. Friday, Saturday, you should be good to go. And going forward, it's going to be a hit or miss. So I don't think it's going to be a washout for you. You're going to have a good time, in my opinion. All right. We got anything specific people need to know about right now? Other than that, I'm going to get into... What am I going to get into here? We're going to look at tropical tidbits. We're going to get into some of these record temperatures. In fact, let's do that right now. So, by continent, record temperatures ever. Now, remember, some of these are being broken or could be broken like any minute right now. So, Algeria, September 2nd, 1979. It hit 51.3 degrees Celsius. That's 124 degrees. Just imagine, I was talking to Caroline about this. Imagine walking outside and it's 124, or like we were talking about before, 134 degrees. It's unbearable. You can't live in temperatures like that. Just like you can't live in temperatures that are cold. PA, yes, we'll get into PA. Absolutely. So 51.3 degrees Celsius. As far as Africa goes, the next one down from there would be 44 degrees Celsius. I'm certainly not going to read all of these, but the highest one, I'm sorry, was actually Tunisia, 55 degrees Celsius, 131 degrees. Unbelievable. Now, what happened was, I believe it was July 10th, 1913. They said that a temperature reached 56.7 Celsius. 56.7 degrees Celsius. Now that's about 134, 135 degrees. Very hot. But since then, on September 13th, 2012, they actually scrapped that from the record books because they claim that the technology they were using at the time did not register that number correctly. It actually rose it. It made the number higher for whatever reason. But on September 13th, 2012, a temperature was recorded that was very similar to that. So they basically just replaced it. For now, the record is for September 13th, 2012. Now, finding that, we would have to go to the different continent because we're on continents. So the highest for Africa, like we said, 131. Here's Asia. Now, this is interesting here, too. So, temperatures. Highest, 54 degrees, 129 in 2017. So, guys, just 2 years ago, in June, 2 summers ago, not even 2 years ago, was the hottest temperature ever in Asia. And second to that was about 50 years prior in Israel. I mean, if that doesn't tell you that things are not changing, it took 50 years to break this record, 54 degrees Celsius. It happened again July. Just look at some of these dates and then compare them to the other records. 2016, 2017. There is 2010 there. 2017 again. These were all 53.5, 53.9, 54, 54, 54. There's a trend here. Things are changing. Like, it's, you know, I try to use these charts to explain this stuff, and I know it's a lot of it gets boring. It's a lot of reading. It's not this visual stuff that a lot of people like to see, but I got to do this sometimes to show you guys that these changes are happening and they're documented. It's just not something you get drilled into your head on TV all the time, like that, you know, parts of Asia or India rather, are so hot right now that people are literally dying on the streets. Like, they have nowhere to go. Even going in a shaded area, you can't survive outside in these temperatures. So, I want to get to this specific article. In fact, I'm just gonna go to it. If it's a something I can't show, then so be it. But okay, we did the Key West. I'm gonna keep the Fireball one up for now. In fact, we'll just type in the Asia heat or the India heat. All right, the humidity here gets nasty. Rosa Blackwell, where are you from? Very true, Bonnie. Yes, when it gets cold, you can just throw in extra layers. Hot, you have no choice. So here's the deal going on right now. So this is an ongoing thing. They're updating these articles pretty often. You can read it yourself. It's horrid. India roasts under heat wave with temperatures above 120 degrees. 14 hours ago, Washington Post. AccuWeather. Temperatures pass 50 degrees Celsius. As I said, guys, we are approaching record-breaking heat again. And it's just like people just don't see it. They don't talk about it. They don't want to know about it. But if it happened here, it would be the talk of the town. It would be everything anyone's talking about. So I want to read this quick here. This might have some interesting information. 2015 heat wave. So apparently 2015 had a decent heat wave. And let me get this tab pulled over next to it because I'm all over the place today, guys. Sorry about that, but hey, it's what we do. So, India. North America, Oceania. All right, we'll start with this. Let's just check out the heat wave for 2015 in India. On the negative wind chill night, I got a 2-jacket blanket to go outside. Yes, that's true. This is all going to increase a book called Lab 257. Blue Star, I will certainly look into that. No, Chrissy, 123 Chrissy, they are not the best, if not maybe the worst. That would be a main biological threat. Blue Star, yes, I totally agree. Karen G, thank you for being here. And thank you again for what you did a couple days back. That will not be forgotten. Thank you so much. The news TV shows are the worst. Only politics, murder, and the like. Yeah, very true. That's all they talk about. That's all it is. Which hurricane was supposed to hit North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland last September? I believe that was start with an F. Florence? Was it Florence? Or no, Florence did hit. Florida, Mike has been talking about the Ebola spreading. Interesting. Florence, Chris, was that correct? Oh yeah, Michael. Yeah, Michael was Mexico Beach, Florida. Russell Westbrook, France. 2010. Yeah, 2010 was Florence. I think it's one hit New York City directly. But it had a sting chip and did tons of damage. Florence. So wait, did we get? I can't believe I'm even asking this question. Florence was 2010? Hurricane Florence, 2010. What the? Well, this is an updated article from 2018. No, we had a Florence last year, guys. We had a Florence last year. Florence, yeah, Florence. The Florence hit last year. Maybe I'm wrong. Hold on. Waking over the lower Mississippi Valley, the focus shifts to a new threat, Hurricane Florence. This storm has a small chance to become a problem for the East Coast next week. On Wednesday morning, Florence became the first major hurricane rated Category 3 or higher to develop during the current Atlantic hurricane season. But what season are they talking about? Get rid of this. 150 miles, blah, 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 6 a.m. This article was first published at 1:15 p.m. Wednesday, was updated at 6 a.m. Thursday with the latest advisory. So they're talking about advisories, but up here, September 5th, 2018. So yes, all right. So last year we had Hurricane Florence. Unbelievable. It took me that long to figure this out. Yes, that's right. So there's Tropical Storm Florence. If they do not become major storms, they do not retire the names. Chances are, maybe not the following year, but the year after, they will reuse the name. But yes, Florence, there was a Florence that definitely drove right into the Carolinas. And it must have been 2010, unless it was this one. I wish I could just watch and see if this was the one. I mean, if it followed this path, that's exactly what it did. If it's the right Florence, it came up and then went swoop, just like that. It got pushed out just a little too late in 2018. Talk about spaghetti plots on that. Oh yeah, Cameron. We even before they adjusted the info on Hurricane Michael, we were on this channel all over that storm last year, and we were all calling it a Cat 5. There was no doubt about it. We knew it was a Cat 5, and they just refused to say it. They absolutely refused. I'm going to refresh this tornado warning thing one more time, so we're not going to need this much longer. All right, we went over this. Good. This way I can it's easier for me to get back on track here. Don't need my email, do we? I don't think so. All right, so what we're going to get into now is the Mississippi River. We talked about our fireball event. And we're going to get into, the significance of the Mississippi River, which is, you see these purple? This is not good. This is where the breaches are. This is where things are getting very serious as far as flood situations go. And I hope that what I've heard about people sabotaging barriers or sand barriers, like people literally taking these things away so the water could flow in, would just be unbelievable to hear about. But if you guys notice, these purple dots are the most serious of flooding when it comes to these rivers. Each one of these dots you see represents a river or a stream or a body of water that, if overflows or is too shallow, can affect the surrounding areas. So look at this number right here, just in green. So there's 5,338 gauges with no flooding. Then when you move to the yellow, near flood stage, so on and so forth, you get to purples. That's where you not want to be. You do not want to be. Now, if you notice a trend here, yes, we are getting moisture in the west because of those systems that are always coming down in this area. We have a little bit of a melt going on as things are warming up. But the main concern here, guys, is the Mississippi River, which, again, begins down by Louisiana and well over 2,000 miles, stretches all the way up through Minnesota. So look at the purple and just follow with me. It's overflowing its banks in so many states now. Iowa is getting very nervous about this. As we've been talking about this for weeks now, that Iowa was going to see flooding in the Mississippi River. It took some time, but it's there. And it's not good. 57 gauges alone just on purple as far as flooded rivers. And some of these aren't necessarily the Mississippi. Like this branch off here, this isn't the Mississippi, but this runs off of the Mississippi. So the Mississippi itself is causing other rivers to flood. So this goes into Little Rock, Arkansas, and you can see it kind of hooks off to the west here. And then we get into the red, which is moderate flooding. And you can even get to when you hover over these dots, you could see just how much flooding there is going on. I mean, the normal, wow, that's unbelievable. So if we're going by feet, normal would be 31 feet for this specific river that branches off the Mississippi. We are 31, 41, 10 feet above normal water levels for just this stretch of river that sticks off of the Mississippi. 10 to 12 feet of extra water. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And this is not done yet. This is just from the last couple weeks of the tornado weather and the moisture that's been coming. Guys, we have a lot more coming, and I'll change the settings back to our normal. In fact, we'll open it here because it opens much easier this way. Tropical tidbits, forecast models, and we could see here, if we just do a quick look, you could see how it's set to June 6th here. And we'll just move forward. You can see all the rain here. In fact, we're going to use a few charts here because this is what we do. We need to verify this stuff. We got our COD chart we're going to use to match this. You can see here, Louisiana. I knew it. Louisiana right now is getting hit hard. And we need our lightning chart because I can guarantee you right now, Louisiana. Probably shouldn't say guarantee because now I get to eat my words. All right. Maybe it's a little behind, but this lightning is certainly getting there. Look at this. Check this shape out here. The way this flow pattern's going. And then when you go to radar scope, you can kind of see how it matches that. Green is flash flood warnings. Yellow is severe storm warnings. If there were any reds, that would be tornado. We're in the reflectivity, tilt 3. In fact, I want to go back to tilt 1. We'll keep this open for reference. And you can see, again, I want to make this very clear, that you can easily follow patterns of lightning matched with weather charts as well as other weather charts. So this ring right here, you see how this flow is arcing just underneath Iowa? Boom, right here. And you see these spots, the hot spots. And then you go back to the lightning chart. There they are right there. So if you were to take this lightning and kind of nudge it over a little bit, you could see Louisiana is covered in a very significant storm. In fact, this might be the strongest that this invest has produced so far, unless there's been some crazy rain numbers in Texas along the coast there. I'm not sure if Norway, if you're still in there. I haven't looked down yet. If you've been doing any measurements as far as rain goes in Texas. Sorry, guys, I gotta blow my nose. Turn the mic off real quick. David Branch. Oh, man. Any ideas on why the weather's so crazy? You know, I have so many ideas, and honestly, I mean, I've made videos in the past where I go into different thoughts about Earth cycles that we haven't experienced yet. You know how we have our 4 seasons. You know, we have our common changes that we can prepare for, we look forward to. Okay, we know once we start getting into September, October, November, that's fall. You know, December, January, February, winter. March, April, May, spring, it gets warmer. Like, we're so used to these, you know, these quarters. I'm thinking outside of that as far as a bigger cycle. Like, not so much human beings changing the weather, like a lot of people believe. I'm not saying I don't believe that. I'm just thinking of different theories. But this could possibly be a cycle that we just haven't experienced yet as a human race. Like, just a long-term cycle that the small amount of time we've been on this earth for, we have not either exited or entered yet. So things do change. I mean, it's no denying that true North Pole is moving, and that alone is going to change the weather. That is going to make certain areas more cold. It's going to shift even what the equator does. It's going to change how weather acts in the oceans. Once that start, once these changes affect ocean temperatures, that's another big factor, guys. Is the temperature of ocean water determines so much of our weather that it's beyond anything I could explain to you in a single video. It's incredible, the currents, and just like the difference between 3 and 2 degrees of water, what it can do as far as weather goes. So that's the best I can answer that question, is that it's some sort of cycle we're going through. Nothing's permanent. It may get worse, but eventually things have to change again. So, it may be one of the situations where the U.S. is in one of those places where the Northeast is going to start getting colder, and it's going to stay that way for a long time. I mean, these could be slow changes. It could be one of those, because of true North Pole moving, that we're just going through a wave of something at the moment. Waves meaning they could last a couple years. I mean, you got to think that when it comes to time, for a human, 70 years is a long time, but for the Earth in space, 70 years is like nothing. It's boom, the snap of a fingers, that's 70 years. So, we're very small compared to what controls our lives. I hope I explained that in a way without going off completely line there, And you never know. It could be. I mean, a lot of people talk about end of days. It could be end of days for certain places we can live. It could be all that. And again, I people have their own beliefs. I have my beliefs. I honestly, I couldn't even tell you, if something was real or not, because I haven't had that experience yet. I haven't had that, okay, this is true, this is not true, wow, slap me upside the head experience yet. But I know there's something. I know there's something out there that is bigger than us, that is controlling us. We're not here for no reason. That's where my mind is, and I'm open to all ideas. I'm a very open-minded person. Caroline can vouch for that. It's just very hard to get into those topics without, them turning into arguments and things like that. So let me read a few of what you guys are saying here. Thank you for making a community with your channel. You encourage us to ask. Yeah, of course. Yes, Dole. That's what I want. I want people asking questions. Again, I'm a person. I'm just like you. I know a little bit about weather. My brother is a Navy meteorologist. He now is an aviation meteorologist in Virginia. He's doing a lot of stuff. So, I kind of just, I moved into this type of stuff because, I mean, it controls our lives. It's everything. Weather is absolutely everything. And when weather decides it's going to do something, we have to abide by it. There's nothing we can do. So it's, why not? It's something everyone has to look at on a daily basis. We have to know about it on a daily basis. And the more people out there talking about it and getting things right, the better. So we don't have to rely on, I don't get me wrong, I love the Weather Channel, but like not having to rely on those types of sources, to find out whether or not your house is going to be there the next day. You got to really dig in and look at your area and different patterns and where things are going. It's a lot more in depth than what they show you on TV. Yes, Revelations. Kate the Great, I'm not going to lie, I have read Revelations. I do. I'm aware of that for a bunch of reasons. So, I mean, I'm not please don't take this as me being anti-religious. I am not that at all. I just don't know yet. I don't know what is controlling everything. You know, and that's something that Caroline is slowly teaching me. She's teaching me how to, you know, to not turn my mind off, but actually turn it on while sitting still. You know, I need that in my life. I need to be able to sit down and take a breath and really focus on, you know, myself, my mind, and things like that. And we've been working on that, and I can't even tell you, like, just in the short period of time I've been doing it, just like the doors that open up in my mind and the thought processes I have, and how small problems just disappear out of my mind. It's like there's so many bigger things going on around us that these small little problems we think we have, they're not problems at all. They're just they're time consumers, you know? It doesn't matter. It just does not matter. Certain things. There's many things that do matter, but you know what I'm saying. Thank you, Alvena, if that was to me. Norway tracking in a couple minutes. I'll post it again. It's way up. All right, wait. Anyway, Norway. Sorry, buddy. I know I'm all over the place today. Have you done any research as far as you go, Caroline? Teach Brian. Yes. Have you done anything as far as Texas rainfall totals? Because looking at this right now, this was our invest that we were talking about. And this thing blew up right over Houston, it looks like. This is Houston right about here. Looks like in the depths of HE double hockey sticks right now. And then you see it, that was about 12 hours ago, 8 to 12 hours ago. And now it's dead over Louisiana, about to blow up again. So maybe he's not in here. Despa Mosquito. I don't recommend that. My horns win. If the price of food gets high, people will starve to death. Well, that would be a domino effect, absolutely. Okay, so anyway, what I was saying, for those of you that want to know what's going on in our country over the next couple days as far as weather goes, here's the deal. See these yellow spots? Severe. So that's as of right now. Again, it could be matched to these charts here. Again, this is Radar Scope. I'm sorry, I have to do this. $29.99 in your app store, Apple Store, Android Store. You can buy it. It's a one-time purchase, and then you can add other levels to it as you wish, depending on how in-depth of a meteorologist you are or how much of one you want to be. This is an amazing website, and I will even spend time in making tutorials on how to use it, because I've learned so much about this program in a short period of time, basically live streaming with you guys, that I feel like I can give someone a really good idea on how to use this. In fact, there was people in the chat helping me. So, all right, there's Norway. Yes, and it looked pretty bad. Yeah, I assume so. I assumed Texas was certainly... So we got the flash flood warning by Belmont. Belmont. I know I pronounced that one right, because I watch the horse races sometimes. Shh, don't tell Caroline. Oh, boy. She knows. Nope, that's not it. Let's back out. I want to see this one right here. This is the one that would be... This is where our invest is affecting right now, by the way, guys. So, Texas, Jefferson, and Orange. There we go. So, this is what it's looking like, at least from this radar. Now, remember what I just showed you guys. We go back to this and check this out. So, when this hit Texas at 1431 UTC, that's when Houston got all those the flood watch warnings and the severe warnings. Those since expired, but I know it dumped a whole lot of rain right here. There is certainly flooding going on in that area. And then after that, it looked like it was about to dissipate, but then right there, you see how it just kind of... That's why the lightning chart right now is right in this area, right at the corner, the southwest corner of Louisiana is where this thing reignited, and it's going to do it again. So we had, from this chart, we had one that really affected Houston and then southeast Texas pretty well. A lot of it was in the water. That's not bad. And then it started dissipating, and then around 23:30 UTC, boom, we had that second high cloud explosion, strong storms, lightning city right over Louisiana. And then if I go to frame 200, this is where we are right now. It looks like we might have another one brewing right there, and this one quite isn't done yet. So if we go back to the lightning chart, refresh it, we can now understand why you're seeing the lightning right there. Usually when you see those black, dark, ugly looking things here, you can expect there to be lightning. Now, also with that said, you see this chunk of lightning here? I mean, I turned off the green lines because I figured you guys thought those were kind of annoying. I could put the detectors on. These are the detectors. These just point out exactly what stations are picking up each strike of lightning. So sometimes it's hard to even look at this when you got so much lightning going on. So I will turn that off for now. Not that one, the detectors. But we can clearly see that there is active lightning going on through central Texas. And when you get on to, all over the place today. Where is it? Where is it? Kind of see it there. This is probably the best one, if not. So that lightning is all right here. It's going from Texas through Oklahoma, and you can see it right here, Texas through Oklahoma. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that dark black ugly color for there to be a lot of lightning. I mean, you can see clearly right here there's a ton of lightning in this area, which leads me to believe that this is charged with energy. There's a lot of power within this storm, and it's going to move into this area, mixing with all this stuff. So the Northeast is certainly going to have something to deal with soon, and we talked about that last night. And that's kind of what I was trying to come to in a conclusion here, is that you see this wrap going up like this. This is kind of like a front, almost following the jet stream line. We have the invest in two different spots right now. This is where it was. It came up this way. This is where we kind of found out that it was not going to be a cyclone, but that doesn't mean it's not a serious situation. Brought a lot of rain to South Texas, a whole lot of rain near the Houston area. And then we have this system here. So both of these are eventually going to kind of meet in this area. That's why I mentioned Tennessee and Kentucky also. And then we showed last night about how this thing may come off and start doing one of these nor'easter-looking, cyclone-ish things we don't like to see out in this area by Long Island and Nantucket and Massachusetts, parts of Rhode Island, and then Connecticut, you name it. These entire areas that stick out into the ocean always get affected by these situations, and I'm going to show you that here as we move into the future. So, back to the 6th again. Here we go. This is our normal chart. This is not our hurricane recognition chart. This is like overall water vapor and rains. So, I'm not sure how far it's going to let me go. So we can see from the 6th, we're 6 hours into the 6th at this point. The low pressure will be right over Louisiana, just like we showed, and then follow the low pressure. It moves up through Mississippi and then through Alabama. You could see the lightning that we were just showing here is now coming down and meeting with it, just like we explained. We got 1 and 2. This will eventually meet here. And then you're going to see what I'm talking about, how this all comes up. And that's why I mentioned the Outer Banks, too. The Outer Banks needs to keep an eye on this, because if this thing gets out to water first and starts spinning, the Outer Banks are going to be just as susceptible to this as the Northeast if this does stay true. Again, we are going into, a good week out, so things can change. And again, more severe weather in Texas in the meantime, that could change too. But the point being is that this is all going to get together. And you see this little circle here? That's the beginning of what I'm talking about. Once these things get out to the ocean, they start to stick together again, and you start seeing that rotation. That's exactly how the hurricanes work. When we talk about the west coast of Africa, those storms come off Africa, they'll take a slight southern dip towards the Cape Verde Islands, and then you'll start seeing them group together, and then they group together some more, and then you start seeing the low-pressure circles around them, and then they become hurricanes as they make that long trip towards the Leeward Islands, and then it's just like a countdown. We all go nuts over this stuff. It's like we all eat it up. But if I, since this is the only data they're giving me right now is up to June 8th, which is all we really should be looking up to. What I wanted to show you was what the potential was from yesterday at this time, and that is this. So you see the low pressure up here. Yesterday it was down here, so that is a little, it's a little better to see for me, but at the same time, guys, this is also what we were talking about by the 13th and 14th. This thing here is still there. It's not moving. So every day that goes by, this is what I was talking about. This thing here. So this looks a little better than it did yesterday. But yes, this down here is more than likely going to be an invest within the next 3 to 4 days if it stays on this path. We've had a good 4 days of it showing exactly the same thing every time. Let me check chat real quick. We take everything for granted in modern times. It'll be fascinating to see how society responds to what's coming. Awful, but fascinating. Very true, David Evans. Honestly, it's going to come down to a point where you're going to have, some people are going to have knowledge and some are not, and it's going to hit them very hard. And other people, they're going to have, you know, at least a base on how to handle a situation or multiple situations. Hey, Brian, there's something that leaves me thinking. With the increase in ocean temperatures and increased water vapor in the atmosphere, 8% plus the previous generation, you think that a few years we were in a situation to try Category 6. Okay, so Category 6 hurricanes, I'm sure they were brought up before 2017, but I remember 2017 because of the amount of Category 5s we saw, not that hit land, but that we saw. We broke a record there. They were talking about the Category 6 topic, and I mean, I agree with it and I don't. And it's for a couple reasons. One is because if you make a 6, eventually you're going to have to start talking about a 7, and then you're going to have to adjust 1 through 5, unless you keep 1 through 5 the same if you're going by the Saffir-Simpson scale, and, you know, anything above a certain number would be a 6. So you would have to pick a number within the Category 5. So Category 5 is what? One. Where does Category 5 start? Cynthia Graves. Thank you. Thank you. Round of applause for Cynthia. Thank you very much. Add dots for the space. So yeah. Okay, I'll check that out. Cynthia, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. China has us by the balls. Yes, they do. Let me see, where was I here? Where was I? America's 8% of meds from China. Yep, I know. Yep, it's a lot of talk about these tariff things. That's why I try not to get into it unless absolutely necessary. Florida, here we go. All right, Rosa Blackwell. Let's talk about what you just said. So, any Hoover, the India heat. Let's finish this up so I can stop rambling. See what happens? I gotta get my stuff together here and learn how to focus on a topic. So, heat wave intensifies. It's been intensifying. It's still intensifying. So, right now, 123 is a reported temperature that we have seen from India. I've seen higher since I woke up today. They're going through a bad heat wave. Long story short, without getting too much more into it, because we've been touching and going on this topic, I wanted a little more order with this When was this posted? June 2nd, 2019. So it is relevant. We could. VOA News writes temperatures past 50 degrees Celsius, 122 degrees Fahrenheit in Allahabad, northern India, as in unrelenting heat wave triggers warnings of water shortages and heat stroke. People are staying cool by keeping themselves hydrated with water and resting under the shade of trees, which can only do so much. The western state of Maharashtra, farmers are struggling to find water and food. That's going to be the main issue here, guys, is their food supply. And that's what's horrible about the situation, is the fact that they're talking about northern India in that particular article. And I had this area specifically marked out as one of those towns that's reporting the 130-degree temperatures. And you can see a lot of this is agriculture, guys. These are their farms. This is where they grow their food. We got a city here. I mean, you back out and it looks like basically central U.S. It's just a checkerboard of farms and crops and stuff like that. Nothing's growing in 130-degree temperatures. Nothing. I don't care how much water you put on it. The second that sun hits those plants, they're going to fry. And I don't know if these are updated pictures or not. I highly doubt it, but I see a lot of brown and not a lot of green. And I know this is India. I understand it's a part of the world where it's not exactly easy to grow crops, but you're just taking a look at the landscape in this area. And again, these pictures might not be up to date, but I mean, you're growing food in sand, basically, or that red dirt, you know? It's very unfortunate. And then to add this heat wave on top of it, these people, it's just all over the world. It's just these horrible situations between the earthquakes and now this heat wave going on in India, and you just don't see it on the news ever. It's just other stuff. It's just always other stuff. So now I want to connect something here. We got a heat wave going on. In this part of the world, weather moves mostly in this sort of direction. Will this heat wave affect eventually parts of Africa and the storms that come off Africa? This includes the sand that's coming off Africa, which has been known to either help aid in bigger storms, or if the particles are big enough, help sustain storms. I know that sounds weird. The finer the particles, it could actually make a hurricane stronger or a storm stronger. But will this heat wave have some sort of effect, like a domino effect, as these storms begin to move, or already are moving east to west across Africa? Then they drop down to the Cape Verde Islands. That's when we have to worry about them, when they start coming this way. So this is not just going to affect India. Like, people don't understand when something very significant like this happens in one part of the world, eventually it affects the other parts too, especially if this continues. This is not a good situation whatsoever, especially over the last 4 or 5 years. All those records are in those 4 and 5 years. Besides that, it was 50 and 60 years before we hit temperatures anywhere near that. And not to jump too much off topic, but the Dakotas this year, I believe we broke records for negative, 60 degrees? It was negative 60 degrees this past winter in parts of North and South Dakota. When I pause like that, I'm just reading the chat a little bit. No, David, they're not. Even if these pictures were 4 years old, where were we? We were right here. I mean, even if these aren't updated pictures, you could tell the heat has been beating this place for a long time. I mean, so it's hard enough to grow food as it is in India. I mean, and now add a heat wave onto it that's breaking not only India heat records, but world records. Like, as in the entire world, the hottest spot right now is in India. It's just incredible. I'm telling you, every time I make a video, I feel like we're talking about another significant weather record being broken. And it basically started right after Katrina. We had Katrina, we had that weird Sandy hurricane that just decided to make a left hook right into New Jersey, and then it was like, almost on a daily basis, we are seeing things that we have not seen either ever or for 50 years or for however long. And I get most of my knowledge from people that are basically, not to, say anything about age, it's just knowledge, it's wisdom, like 55 and up. Hey, if you're a senior citizen, I guarantee you can give more knowledge to someone younger than yourself about weather and what's changed since then than anyone else, than any app could do, any of that type of stuff. Like, all you have to do is have lived through that time and see the changes. That's why I always tell people, even just think back 10 years ago. Try to remember a memory from 10 years ago, what the sky looked like, what, the temperatures were like, things have changed. There's so many things that have changed as far as weather and where people can live. I mean, people being displaced. There's still parts of Florida you can't live in. I mean, even from Hurricane Sandy, there's still parts of New Jersey you can't live in because of that. It's like they just don't even want to fix it, or they find it that there's no reason to fix it because it might happen again. You never know. Caroline and I were just talking about it. There's still part of the freaking roller coaster that was at Seaside in the middle of the ocean. It's just sitting there. Look this up, please. What am I looking up? I'm sorry. Dawn and Preston are helping who? What happened? What happened? Yeah, Norway. After once we're done with this live stream, I'm gonna have it set up so the links post. We're gonna fix that. Okay, what's happening with the levee? Yeah, so there was I don't know if it was Arizona, because Arizona has nothing to do with the Mississippi River, but did something happen in Arizona where there was a levee breach? I Don't tell me it was a dam. I'll make sure it works, Norway. I'll make sure it works. Arkansas. Okay, got you, babe. Sorry. I should have known that. All right, so yeah, we had a levee breach in Arkansas. That is for sure. We can get off this. We've done our temperature charts, so let's see. All right, so this was 2 days ago. Morganza spillway opening delayed, but tropical system may also threaten. Okay, so they were talking about that 2 days ago, adding to it. Photos and videos from devastating Midwestern floods. Chicago Tribune, Mississippi River flooding nearly 1993. This is the one Caroline sent me. Okay, we're gonna look at this article from the Weather Channel. Definitely, this is a great article. All right, so
how do these other OT?
That's not going to get played. Mississippi River flooding nearing 1993 records in some locations, and disaster could last weeks. So, this is an ongoing situation. It's been ongoing. It's going to keep going because there's so much moisture moving into the U.S. that there's no way for it to not continue. Not only that, but if we continue seeing these invests and these big storms coming out of Central America and the Caribbean, that's just more and more water going into the Mississippi River. In fact, I'm not calling it. I'm not making a prediction. I'm not doing any of that stuff. But I honestly think that the Mississippi River this year will be in record books forever. This may be one of the worst, if not the worst, flood the Mississippi River ever sees. So, at a glance, water levels in some places along the Mississippi River are approaching the 1993 record levels. 28 levee breaches, guys. 28. That's those levees built to not break have broken. 28 of them. have been reported across Missouri, and more than 400 roads are closed as a result of the flooding. North of St. Louis, dams and locks are shut down as water levels reach second highest levels ever recorded in some areas. So now we're at number 2 in some areas, soon to be number 1 because of what's going on right now in Louisiana. That water is going to affect all this stuff. Any system that goes over the Mississippi River is going to add to this stuff, and here comes the Arkansas part. The Arkansas River is cresting Tuesday in Little Rock at its highest level since 1945. That was Tuesday. We're on Thursday now. That's 2 days later, and now we have a levee breach. I hope I'm not going backwards with these articles. Flooding along several swollen major parts of Midwest River continued Tuesday. Yes, we're approaching the 1993 record. In fact, we may have even broken it. These were posted by Daryl Forte, so go ahead and give him a like for showing his pictures. Missouri, Associated Press, so these are all in Missouri. This Arkansas thing must be pretty new because there's not much on it. In fact, let me get more detailed in the typing of it. Arkansas levee breach. I'm just going to do that. Oops. Well, there you go. Gotta love Google. Our drone footage captures extent of Arkansas levee breach. All right, I might be able to play this and then pause it and we'll get an idea. But this is correct. There has been a levee breach in Arkansas. You could see it right there. That is not good at all. That is so not good. Oh my goodness. All right, just for the heck of it, I gotta say, Brian M. Finger, this is his picture. I hope he does not mind me posting it here. It's an amazing shot, but we need to see this. This is what's going on all along the Mississippi River. These are trees. You would probably be able to climb this tree, has this water not been here. But, wow, this is just unbelievable. Every day, another levee, multiple levees are breaking. In fact, let me see if we can get some literature on this. Historic river flooding breaches levee in Arkansas. Today Show, MSNBC, 5 days ago. So they were anticipating this, certainly, because they were talking about Arkansas's levees 5 days ago. And that was somewhat within our tornado situation at the same time, too. So, let's see. Look at the Weather Channel. They renamed it to the Water Channel. Of course they did. They gotta get their ratings. The Water Channel. Oh man, I'm screen capping that. Look at this. The Water Channel. Good eyes. Very good eyes. Drone shot? 100%, babe. Good job. I love this girl. Yeah. Like, why would they go out of their way to change their logo just to say water? Like, it's almost like, you know, I don't know. It's hard to even, like, put my mind in that set. Like, what if you were one of these people living in this area and you're relying on the Weather Channel, you know, to get your info, and they're, like, kind of mocking it? I don't know. Is that a mock, or am I just overanalyzing that? Seems insulting. Okay, so I'm not alone there. It does. It's like, come on. I'll probably even get in trouble for showing that logo for so long. But okay, there's no doubt about it, guys. Arkansas, there was a levee breach, and there's more than likely going to be more. And I keep showing this, but it's very hard to get material that people aren't going to just flag on you because they claim it's theirs. That's why I constantly ask for anyone that's living in these areas, if you are, anything you send us, we will post and fully credit you for it. I would love to even just travel out to these areas. I'm just not in a position to do it at the moment. and get my own footage so I could show you guys this stuff without having to worry about clicking a link and then having the video removed. It gets frustrating, but if there's anyone out there that, lives in Arkansas or along the Mississippi River that has, shots of what this flooding is doing, you can, any way you need to reach me. We have our email addresses in the About Me section on the channel page. You can obviously reach out in a comment, and we can touch base that way. You can email intothinAirNews@gmail.com. That is IN, the number 2, THINAIR, news, all one word, obviously, @gmail.com. That's the best way. And you can obviously PM us on YouTube. I know you can't share videos that way. My best advice as far as sharing videos without having to use a cloud, which I don't like using. I'll have some pics that are 2 weeks old, though. That's fine. Doesn't matter. If it shows the flooding that is part of this situation, that's worth it to me. But as far as videos, I know it's hard with the cell phones taking such high-quality videos these days. The files are huge. My best advice to you, unless we can find a simpler way to transfer the videos over to us and then we could play them, is to literally upload them to your channel. You can choose to unlist the video or put it to private. This way it's not out in the public. You don't have to worry about people hearing you talk, or, if you, say, a curse word or just something. Some people don't even like hearing their own voice. You can post the video without it being public. And then all you can do is give us the link. We can then re-download it or just go to that page, pick out pieces and parts you want us to use, and we can go forward that way. And that's what I want. I want more material to show you guys. I know charts are one thing, but even this stuff can get kind of repetitive. And that's the last thing I want, is for people to be like, all right, we're looking at the same thing over and over again. But a lot of this stuff has to be explained. There's a lot of questions about why. Like, why is this happening? And when's it going to end? And, some of those questions can't be answered, but many of them can. But you can't ask your TV that. You know what I mean? So I like getting involved with the questions and the people and stuff like that. So, and it's also part of the reason why I go off track a lot. Here's another good chart where we could see just the massive, they look like explosions. Like, look at these. These look like explosions going on as this previous invest is rolling up the coast of Texas into Louisiana. And now, again, boom, watch, right there. And then there's one down here too. You could see each time these things get super powerful, they blow up into white. It's the opposite of this chart. As you could see, their explosions are black. I call them explosions because that's exactly what they look like. It looks like just the weather is exploding over Texas there, kind of dissipates, and then boom, explodes over Louisiana. And that's exactly what you're seeing right where I had you before. And I already lost it. There we go. So this is where you were seeing the black, is right there. So the charts match. We know where the weather's going right now. You can see this bit of stuff moving out to the east quick, but here's that arc I'm talking about. We need to remember this arc because this is going to play a part in what this does. Whether this goes out to the Carolinas or not, it's certainly going to make its way to the Panhandle. It's certainly going to get to Mississippi, Alabama, Panhandle, Florida. Certainly, Georgia's going to feel it. And now, as far as it rolling up the East Coast, it's hard to tell at this moment whether this arc here is going to be that separate system that then begins to turn counterclockwise up here, or if this is going to kind of stay in a western or eastern movement and then out into the ocean and do its thing that way. Because you could see a lot of this dropping down. That's due to the jet stream cutting this into two pieces. So you could see it starts bowing up and then comes down that way. That's the jet stream coming up. that's allowing all this warm, moist air to come in and allow these very strong storms to even happen. So that's why it's been cooler up here, and that arc is coming up. That's the jet stream once again, and it dips down back this way, and that's why we have the weather moving in the west as well. So this all makes sense. It makes sense as far as the charts go and why these things are happening, but the strength and the what's the word I'm looking for? The frequency of these storms, like how frequent they're happening, is just crazy. It's nonstop. We'll have about an 18-hour break where it's nice out, or a day at most, and then we go through 3 days of just craziness. So it's just making me wonder whether we're going to have a summer where we don't have to worry about something for maybe at least a week. It would be nice to have a week where we didn't have to worry about a significant weather issue. Norway, thank you, buddy. Yes, and I'm going to handle that. Don't worry. Yeah, get some sleep, buddy. Get some sleep. We're going to be ending this soon anyway. I think we got our point across for the most part. Seems tropical. It does, doesn't it? When you look at this area here, unique ASMR I'm responding to, that thing's big. I mean, and then when you go to here, if I go back to about, you're seeing the same thing here, so I'll line this one up with this. All right, so we'll watch this once through. Here it starts. We see right there over Texas, and then again over Louisiana, and then as that happens, there's one that pops up over Mexico. So we got 1, 2, and 3 right there. Then when we go to this chart and we back it up, we can actually watch these happen. Now, I can't scroll down too far to Mexico unless I change the entire outlook, but we're focusing on Texas here and then Louisiana. You're going to see the same thing. That initial explosion right there. They just refreshed it, so we'll just start again. That came and went. We saw that happen. We saw this one. And then you're going to see it dissipate. Gets a little weaker. Still massive amounts of lightning within this. And then there's that second one just as the one in Mexico blows up right there. So these are matching absolutely dead on. 1 and 2. Right before that was Mexico. I'll keep this one on for now while we're talking. YouTube is turning into CNN. Yeah, certain channels are definitely taking it that way. That's for sure. And not only that, but it seems like that's what they want. They want it to be like CNN. Power outages in LAX, huh? Let's see about that. Okay, blah, 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 blah. I probably picked the wrong thing there. Here we go. PPL. Why not? Good old PPL. What does it do? It makes you stay in one spot? I don't want to be over there. Berks, Lackawanna. I think it's locked into my area. That's why. I hate that. That's why I hate this location stuff. Let's see. Power outages. I'm just going to do power outage map. Where were we talking about? California? LAX? That's probably going to put Louisiana, California power outage map. Let's check that out. Yeah, that is kind of interesting. Why would they have power outages? Right here is... it's not showing anything crazy. The highest amount of customers without power at this moment right now is Pacific Gas and Electric. And they cover these counties. Butte. Oh, interesting. Okay, so we have Contra Costa's got close to 2,000 customers out. That's weird. Santa Clara's got over 1,000. Are we in Santa Ana wind territory? I don't know. I think that comes soon in a little bit. The Santa Ana winds get strong. Why are we having power outages like this in California? I mean, these could be, summed up to sometimes accidents, but when you get into the thousands, that's a little different. Yeah, YouTube Super wants a censored media outlet. The Mirror Center, yeah, exactly. They do. They just want repeat, 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 repeat. Nose tap, Michelle. True helper at any time, man. If you have to go, please feel free. It's okay. I appreciate everything you do on this channel. And I'm going to be able to properly thank you soon. Because you're doing this on your own time. And I appreciate it. And I'm just writing this message real quick. Of you that don't know, this is there we go. So in the messages there, you're going to see a message from Into Thin Air News. That is the backup channel for this channel. So when you get a chance, if you get a chance, I just highly recommend just get it out of the way just in case. You never know. I'm going to start posting a lot of stuff on that channel. Some more interesting stuff. There's going to be more news as far as like let's just say very interesting stuff. We're gonna push the lines on that channel for sure. It's gonna be fun. So waiting our viewers award. Yeah, we were supposed to. It's apparently in the mail, but I'm getting a YouTube button soon. I can't wait to show you guys. It's been about 6 weeks since they said they sent it. But as far as this power outage goes in California, I don't know unless maybe I could just look up power outage at LAX. One hour ago. There we go. You're right. Power outages at LAX result in several flight delays being delayed and canceled. Due to an ongoing power disruption in Terminals 1, 7, and 8, several flights have been delayed, diverted, or canceled. Please check with your airline for updates. If you have a flight scheduled to leave or arrive, blah, 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 blah. Wow. Okay, so basically a year ago, power outage at LAX impacts traffic. We had a power outage almost, 14 days almost to the day. We had a power outage at LAX 1 year ago today. Brief power outage at LAX delays several flights 37 minutes ago. So yes, there was a power outage. And this was, again, 14 days away from the 1 year anniversary of another power outage at LAX. There are no coincidences, apparently, in this life. Thank you, Wake Up. I appreciate it for subbing. YouTube is purging channels. Yes, they are. Because, I talk about that sometimes without trying to get too in-depth with it. Like, there's a lot more stuff I could talk about and post and, but I feel like I can still get my point across without having to risk losing the channel. I mean, yes, I understand there is information that is more important than other information, and I've had people come out and be like, "Hey, man, you have such a huge platform. Why aren't you talking about this or that?" It's because the platform will not be there if I do that. And I mean, some people have to understand that it takes. I've spent a lot of time, a lot of hours, a lot of everything on this channel over the past 2 years. I've had many YouTube channels. Um, Me and Caroline were just talking. I have one that I made in 2006. I still have. So I've been on YouTube a long time, so I know what they don't like and what they do like, and I can still get the same info out without breaking their rules. Basically, we are on their terms. I mean, it's just the way it is. It's unfortunate. YouTube used to be different. It used to be a lot different. But these days, even what I'm doing right now, technically could be, copyright stuff. When you see these ads here, there's technically copyright. I mean, they could get you for anything they want. It's just the way it is these days. It's true, David. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, a lot of people do. That's why I get people that, they just try to push until, you say something you don't want to say. But again, I've been there, done that. But again, I understand where people get frustrated. It's like, you have the platform, why not spread the message? It's like, I am spreading the message. I'm spreading the message in a way where I can continue spreading the message. Or I could, make a YouTube channel, post a video, get it taken down, make another one, post a video, get it taken down. I could go that route, but, we're trying to turn this into a community where, you can come here and get trustworthy information, accurate information. I have no problem admitting when I make a mistake. I get called out all the time for making mistakes, and then I fix them. So, there's no reason to you know, pretend to be something you're not. This is what I enjoy. It's a passion of mine, and I know that it helps people. So, what do we got here? It's got a bunch of alerts for some reason. And we don't need the buoy chart anymore. We're going to go to this chart here. Check out some of these temperatures. Oh, it changed. This said 106 before. We had 106 down here about an hour ago. Life-giving water can be deadly also. Much respect to water and to you, Brian, and into thin air. Thank you so much. Kibu. Is that how you pronounce it? Kibu? Kiba? Kibu. So what's coming between the 16th and the 23rd? Well, your guess is as good as mine. It looks to me that we could be dealing with a possible invest. So here we are on Tropical Tidbits. We were looking at the invest that ended up not being. There was an invest here, invest 91L. They thought maybe it would come out in this direction and kind of form and maybe do some not so nice stuff to the Gulf states. But as we move into, here's the 8th, 9th, and you can see it's coming, right? This is what I'm talking about. Perfect example right here. These storms, they come off as green blobs right off the coast of Africa, down through the Cape Verde Islands. You'll see it right here. There we go. Here's one that came from there. If I back up, you could see exactly where it came from. You could follow them, even the shadows of them before they turn green. They come off that coast. There's the low pressure sign that just popped up. You're going to see that one here next. As you move forward, you could still follow it. This was the low pressure there. Now, each one of these is a potential hurricane. It's no joke. We're in season. This is the equator right here. This is very warm water moving all the way from the Cape Verde Islands all the way to the Leeward Islands. In fact, most of these are actually going under the Leeward Islands, which is why what we've seen so far as these invests are coming up from the South Caribbean. They're coming up this way instead of coming this way or forming down here. Now, the one we had over here actually formed in this area as opposed to what we're about to look at. Now, between the 11th and the 16th, the point being, we have 1, 2, 3 possible invests on their way into the Gulf if they all follow this path. And the one that I'm speaking specifically of is this one. And you're going to see it right here. It goes through the Leeward Islands, underneath Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Cuba. And then it looks like it goes right through the gap of Cancun, Mexico, and Cuba. It becomes a low-pressure system, about 1,005 millibars. And who knows from here, because right now we're at the 14th. It's the 6th. So that's 8 days from now. With a lot of room to change. So 8 days is a lot of room. Usually the rule of thumb is anything outside of 5 days, you really don't want to put a lot of emphasis on. Once you get in that 5-day range, you could start really getting a better idea of what's going to happen. But over the last 6, 7, 8 days, I've been looking at this exact same setup. So every day it's been showing the same thing. And again, if you guys have noticed, the Bermuda Atlantic bubble is now here. This high pressure bubble is what basically controls our hurricanes. Anything that forms up here comes off Africa. It's not going to go this way. It's going to come down and around this bubble. This bubble is like a force field. Very rarely do you see the hurricanes come up through here. They do sometimes, and sometimes this bubble is what saves us. Sometimes you'll see a hurricane that could be a category 4 right here, and we're all on our toes watching it, and then all of a sudden you get this little dip that goes up and the pressure releases and the hurricane gets up here, and sometimes they'll get stuck here because then that high pressure will wrap around it, and that's a good thing. But with this situation, to get to your point, this is what we're looking at between the 11th and the 16th. And the reason for that is because not only is it a low pressure system, it gets down to that below 1,000 millibars. You see 998 there, and with 8 days to go, and with the water being so warm in the Gulf and even warmer in the South Caribbean, this could be a much stronger system than we're looking at right now. And in that case, could be tropical storm. More than likely will be Barry, unless something else happens before that. The only chance I see Barry being named before the 11th to the 16th would be this thing here, and that would just be a waste of a letter, because the second it leaves basically the area of Nova Scotia, it gets drawn up into the colder water and then goes to our friends in Ireland, unfortunately. Usually all of our bad weather that leaves the Northeast goes right to them, and that's just not fun. But yeah, this is what we're looking at right here, is this situation. And if I bring you to this chart here, we'll go back to GFS, get a closer look. And you can see how it kind of rolls up into there. And right there is where I want to see what the change is, because you could actually see right there is the counterclockwise rotation when it begins to spin. And it's always when it drops below 1,000. That's when you start seeing that spin. That's when those storms start collecting, and that's when they start pulling up that warm moisture right through the middle and then out around the sides, and you get that eye wall. So again, I'm not saying this is going to be a hurricane. I'm saying it's what we need to watch out for next. As far as these charts go, the ones that allow us to go 10 and 12 days into the future. This is 8 days. We're within that, we're allowed to talk about it without, getting too much criticism. So, yes, that is going to be the next system to watch for sure as far as tropical cyclones. So I hope I answered your question there. Night JB, night Rosa, good night Caroline, my dear. Okay, I got a text. Yeah, she's exhausted. Time for her to rest. Ooh, dropped my mic. Sorry about that. All right, now let's check my tabs. I appreciate you guys hanging in there with another all over the place live stream, but I mean, you gotta love them, some of them. Take a look at this chart right here. So basically, this is right now. For those of you that want to know what's coming your way tonight and tomorrow, this red area is severe. So I might jump on at some point In fact, we already have flash flooding and a tornado. There we go. Boom. Tornado watch. Jefferson Davis and Cameron, Louisiana. You have a tornado warning in effect as of right now. This is cell L8. And it looks like it's going to be just west of Lake Arthur by about 12:41 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we have an official tornado warning for Louisiana due to that system we just finished looking at. Unreal. Type X, are you heading out? Of course, True Helper. Thank you for being here for all of them and the length of them. But yeah, this just popped up. We have a tornado warning in Louisiana. Jesse Lute, thank you, man. Very much appreciated. I see you here, man. I recognize your picture. Thank you. That means a lot, buddy. Let me hit play here. We'll see how this thing's moving. So this is our reflectivity chart. This is showing the cell storm itself. You see that purple right there that just popped up? We'll show that one more time, and then we'll go to the velocity chart. You're going to see a little bit of purple jump up right there. Right there. Boom. That could be what they were talking about. So I'll go to velocity, and I could probably give you a decent hypothesis on whether or not this is going to be a tornado or not. It's a warning as of now. Yeah, I'm not going to really respond to the weather control stuff. So for people that want to bring that up, it's not really something we talk about here. We talk about the weather that is on the ground. And there has not been an instance where I have not been able to explain where it comes from or why it's happening. The Earth is changing. Bottom line. But as far as this velocity chart goes, and thank you for that, Salvis, by the way. When you start seeing these purples and this right here, this is velocity. This is basically they're measuring rotation. And then as you see on the last frame, this is current time. You start seeing these pixels here. Once you get to tilt 2, sometimes it smooths some of them out and it kind of centralizes on one area. But this is the area to watch. And this block here, this might be tornado on the ground. In fact, do I have Tornado HQ still pulled up? Ooh, sorry if people don't like that. All right, I think we covered the power outage. We'll go to Tornado HQ. And, all right, it's up. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Laurie or near La Cassine National Wild Refuge, moving northeast at 10 miles per hour. That was in Louisiana. That's exactly what we are looking at right now. So, this is in effect until, let's see. This danger storm will be near Lowry around 11:45 Central Time. So that is in about 5 minutes. Lake Arthur and then Thornwell around midnight Central Time, which is about 20 minutes from now. Precautionary preparedness actions. We read these about 20 minutes ago. It's basically take cover and listen. Listen to this type of stuff, because when you go to radar scope, which is, like I said, has been an amazing chart when it comes to verifying these tornadoes, and you can even see some rotation here. This last frame we're looking at right now is what they're talking about. So this is the actual line of this storm that they're following, and you can see how the velocity chart shows that this is actually to the east of the actual storm cell. And we've talked about this before too. It's usually not the cells themselves that cause the tornadoes. Well, yes, they cause the tornadoes, but it's not within those cells that you usually see the tornadoes. It's usually the tornadoes spin off of those cells depending on how strong they are. That's why you get the hail first, you get that green sky. It's a different feel. And you'll see that here as this cell moves in. We'll zoom out a little so you can get a better view. But again, you see how it gets deeper, like that burgundy color starts getting in there as we get towards this red box, because this is the area of watch for that tornado warning. And you see how it gets darker and darker as it gets right to that spot. So, in my opinion, if this continues to be a tornado watch or warning, they're going to extend it up this way because it looks like it's really starting to fire up as it gets to this point. And they may extend this up to the top of this straight line. And when you click these, it just gives you time frames of when the strongest part of this cell, L8, is going to get to this point. So you may see this rise up. And if you zoom out a little more, you could see we got a lot of flash flooding going on in Louisiana. We got severe thunderstorms to the south. And these are all got a path that looks like they're going to the northeast right now. And this could be fueling it. We saw this pop up before. This is where that big blow up of moisture was, and it's going to continue going this way. And then, as I showed you before, that arc was coming down. A lot of lightning near Kansas City right now, and that shows a lot of energy in the sky. So we got to keep an eye out for this area too. It's going to dump right down, it looks, into the Outer Banks, in my opinion. And then the northeast situation is going to be something different. I thought it was going to be all the same system, but it looks like it's breaking into two now. So I'll double check this warning, and then I think I'm going to cut it here, guys. So we've gone over a lot. I know we were all over the place, but, you know, that's just how it is right now. We get better and better every time. We're going to look at the velocity chart once more, and then I'll let you guys go. Yeah, we're pushing 300 confirmed tornadoes. It's roughy rough. And there it is. You're already seeing the velocity right here. It's already spinning. Like, these are very high clouds. These are very, very high up, and they start that rotation, and then it just boom, it gets down to the ground, and right there, this could be tornado on the ground. In fact, I want to refresh this page and see if they have confirmed a on the ground tornado. It's still it's still saying capable of producing. Basically, we're waiting for someone, a storm chaser or a weather professional, a meteorologist, to verify, but that to me looks like a classic tornado shape. Just to the east of the storm cell itself, which is usually what you see. You'll see them branch off to the east. And we've been watching this for 2 weeks straight, all through Texas and Oklahoma. We all watched it together, and it looks very similar to that. Let's just hope it doesn't last as long. It says it's going to expire in about 15 minutes. And again, that is Cameron and Jefferson Davis, those areas within Louisiana. Yeah, what happened, North Star? I'm seeing, I hope you're okay, North Star. What happened? Prayers there, North Star. What happened? Can someone tell me what happened to North Star, please? Pretty please. Bride, it's been real. Thank you for of course, Erie, thank you so much. Yes, it's been very real. I'm sorry sometimes I get off track and I get into other conversations and stuff. That is why I make videos sometimes, because like my videos are just topics. I could just stay on topic with videos, but live streams, I love them because it's easier to get a bunch of info out at once. But yes, they do linger on, and then a lot of people see a video, they're like, oh, I got 2.5 hours. I'm not watching this. So, I mean, it's hit or miss. So, North Star's family near tornado. Oh, God. Okay. Okay. In that case, let's keep an eye on this thing for a minute then. Because, I mean, yeah. Like, I mean, think about it for a sec, guys. We were just talking about this. And when you see, as this moves into frame 200, which is current time, you wonder why there's a tornado going on. Look at that. Like, just look, the entire state of Louisiana was covered in a dark black mass at one point. Just look at this. And this is actually the spot that spawned off the tornado, or spawned off the possible tornado that's causing the warning. So this just happened over. It kind of, it started it started dissipating, but we're looking right in this area here. This is exactly what's going on. And we got another strip coming up. And if we back up a little bit, we have this stuff here that's going to enter the ocean, more than likely re-energize because it's over open water. And if it stays on the same trajectory, we may be seeing more of these throughout the night, which would just not be good. You know, I was hoping I would not see a tornado, at least just for one day. Just one day, that's all. But there it is. It comes this way. Right here, you can see the velocity beginning. And this is where... Oh, wow, yep, they moved it up. Look at that. They changed it. Now it's right here. Here, see this pink here? The farther you move to this side of the chart, as far as color goes, the higher chances of a tornado. This right here may be a tornado. In fact, our verification would be right here. We'll redo this. Still saying capable. 11 minutes from now, it's expected to end, but with that other weather, like we just showed, moving up into that direction, it may not be over for the night. Actually, it's a good few hours before this stuff will make it there, so hopefully they're good for the night. Yeah, Maryland got a tornado outbreak out of nowhere, and it was like 3 or 4. You're right. The most odd spots are just, and there's no warning. It's not like you're like, okay, I see this big system moving my way. It happens. Hi, Carolyn and Christ. Good night to you too. Thank you for being here. And sorry to anyone that I'm missing that's saying good night. I'm trying to. Yes, BP Earthwatch covers Louisiana. He's all over Louisiana. In fact, he's a big part of why my channel exists right now. I always reach out to him and speak with him about that. Yeah, he had to change his name, unfortunately. It's YouTube for you. Crystal Butler, how are you? Unfortunately, we're going to be wrapping this up soon. We're actually just watching for a friend right now. This tornado warning in Louisiana. We're just seeing if we can get some last-minute info before we get off here about what exactly this is going to do. It's a good thing that the box got smaller, but as I said before, it looked like it was powering up right as it entered the box, so they cut off the extra little triangle part of it, and now they're expecting the strongest part of the storm to be right here in the last frame right there. So we got velocity right here, and then you always notice as you move down the chart, the lighter colors are always to the east. More times than none, a lot of these tornadoes spin off to the east of the actual cell of the storm, but this is actually velocity right here. This is spinning. Not that it's a tornado on the ground. I want to make that clear. It's just showing velocity and stuff like that in the sky. I mean, they got to start in the sky and then make their way down to the ground to be a touchdown tornado. And yes, this looks like a big giant mess, but these different settings, it just hones in on specific things. So right now we're honing in on specifically tornado weather. If I change this to the reflectivity, you actually see the storm cells that are causing these things. So a lot of different settings within this app, which is why I love talking about it with you guys, because for storm chasers and people into weather, this app is incredible. It's like on point very much. Jesse Lute, very true. Very good comment. Very good comment. And I know exactly what you're talking about. Alright, true. Love you, heads up, so does our father. Thank you, Erie. And true, yes, true deserves praise among praise among praise. Lifesaver, true helper is. And true helper, I'm just going to say this now. I need to get in touch with Leak Project. I emailed him. I know he's busy, but I got to talk to him about something. Not that it's your job to make that happen, but if you have the opportunity and you have a conversation with him, just let him know. Look at that. And it actually, okay, so this is good. It actually looks like some of that has dissipated. So this warning might actually go away sooner than later. This is, yep, that was the last frame. So this is what we're dealing with right now, is this. I'm still not liking this. And this is what's moving into this area, which is why this is the boxed off area. The green is flash flood warning areas. And any time you see a yellow box, that's severe thunderstorm. So right now, there is a severe thunderstorm going on in all of these counties of Texas. And look in the direction they're moving, guys. This is important to look at. These lines show you where they're going. The box is where they are now. This line shows where they're expected to be. So, with that said, what are we seeing here? We're seeing severe thunderstorm movement, at least with this one. As you move up north, it kind of boom, 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 boom. You know how it's changing directions? But if this wants to head down in this direction here, all it's going to do is meet up with that other bit of moisture that we saw that's starting to get bigger in the Gulf. And if that meets up, it's going to cause another one of these exact situations in southeast Louisiana, even possible central Louisiana. And then depending on how much moisture and how much energy is involved with that, could move into Mississippi and or Alabama. And you can't leave Arkansas out of that either. I'll message Rex. She was in Cali at the disclosure. Yeah, I know. He's been super, super busy. That's why I'm not expecting anything soon or anything like that. But, yeah, that would be great. Thank you very much. May 17th, 2019. Yeah, actually, you know, I thought it was even before that. But you might be right. May 17th to, like, now. In fact, we may have had a day break that cut the record. I think, what was it, 14 straight days or 15 straight days with confirmed tornadoes? We did break the record. I guess they never miss, huh? North Star's family near tornado area. Yep, that's North Star's spot. They still have not checkered away from this box quite yet. We'll look at it one more time, and then I gotta get off here. I think we've been running long enough. Let's see. Yeah, we're over 2 hours, so... All right, so we've gone through this. We know what to expect in the Gulf states. We know what's coming up into the Northeast in the next couple days. Of course, I'll be going over it tomorrow again. I'll be up pretty much all night doing updates tomorrow, starting around 6 o'clock We got some new spots to talk about in the Atlantic that are going to be spots we need to watch as far as cyclone formation. And we need to watch up by Washington and Oregon because there's some systems that are rolling from west to east along those strip islands in Alaska that look like they're pretty significant. And once those make it down this way, if it matches with something that's coming in from the Baja region, we're going to be dealing with a ground zero situation. By ground zero, I call this part of the country ground zero because whenever we have systems come in and in from the south, they meet right here, and this is where all the chaos begins. So we do have a lot more to talk about, but I think we've gone over enough for this evening. Just check the chat real quick, make sure you guys are all good. All right. Here 2 hours. Wow. Yeah, time flies. The other night we did a 5-hour live stream. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I was like, what? I was on here for 5 hours? But as long as I get the info out to you guys and I'm not just sitting here talking, that's all that matters. So, again, this is the last time we're going to do this. One more time, we're just going to review everything once. Between June 11th and June 14th, we need to keep an eye on the Gulf. Obviously, because of this situation, this has not changed in the last 5 days. There is time for it to change, either to break up, move into another direction. But it looks like as of right now, that week is going to be very interesting for the states of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Panhandle of Florida, Florida itself, and then obviously Georgia, so on and so forth. We will keep an eye on this. Absolutely. It looks like it's going to want to shoot across Florida. That may change. We don't know. That one's gone. We looked at it from afar. We saw where it came from, the west coast of Africa. If you move this slowly, you can see one. You move it again. There it is. There's another one, and here's another one coming off. So these things are coming off like a conveyor belt now. And it's just a matter of time before you start seeing the rotation right here. And then we get to watch these things for 5 and 6 days as hurricanes before they even get to us. And that's when things really start heating up. But you notice all the weather is wrapping around the Bermuda Atlantic bubble. That's very important to understand. That Atlantic bubble is what keeps weather. And then there's a perfect example. When the bubble flattens or dips or changes, the weather flattens and dips and changes with it. So this bubble keeps weather in places or out of places. So that's a very important part of hurricane season is the Bermuda Atlantic bubble, the high pressure bubble. And it shows you exactly why hurricanes come down and up, or if the bubble's high enough, they come up this way, or if it's a really bad situation, like we had at one point with Irma, it showed that storm coming here and then going, boom, right to New York. All right, True Helper, we're going to be done for tonight. You've done your fair share of work. We've gone over what we need to. You guys are all great. Thank you for everyone that donated. Where are you? I'm thanking you again, whether you're in here or not. We went too far past. But thank you to the one nice young lady that donated. Really appreciate that. True Helper, again, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone that was answering questions in the chat. Thank you, Type X, my love, of course. Guys, the Mississippi River's flooding. It's going to get worse. There's no getting around it. If you live anywhere near it, please take proper precautions. Do what you have to do to make sure you're saving your property or your neighbor's property, or if you have to move, have a plan. Just have some sort of plan because it's just getting worse right now. We may get some relief. It may dry out soon. Just by the looks of it in the near future, that's not going to be the case. So, and we just had a levee break in Arkansas. So we're starting to see this move up and farther up the river with these breaches. And the more this river breaches, the more water is going to saturate areas that we don't need saturated, where we grow food and things like that. And then it's going to be a semi-long night for Louisiana. And we talked about that with multiple charts. And I think we are good. So, all right, guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. We had another 2+ hour one. Let me just double check this. All right, as of right now, if you guys want to keep an eye on the tornado warnings, tornadohq.com. It will give you every bit of info you need on that tornado watch going on in Louisiana, where we're watching for a friend right now near Cameron Jefferson Davis in Louisiana. All right. And I think that's it. We are still in the sequence. Yes, we are. I did check once again. Good. All right, guys. Thank you all. Have a wonderful evening or early morning. It is now June 6, 2019, 662019. Thank you very much. I will talk to you guys later on today. Have a great early morning / evening if you're in the middle of the country. All right, I'm done talking. Have a great night, guys. Bye-bye.